the Ravens are the biggest winners in the AFC North this offseason.
This is a team that consistently is going to be in position to contend because of how talented they are. The reality of it is those guys can play.
The AFC should watch out for the Baltimore Ravens this season.
Players in the NFL, certainly one of the best players at quarterback. They got a guy at tailback in J.K. Dobbins, who I think could be an all-pro. They got one of the best tight ends in football, a plethora of perimeter weapons, some health on the offensive line, a very good defensive line, one of the better young linebackers in the NFL, and a top 5 secondary. And no one talks about it.
Yo, what it is? Welcome back to another episode of At the Bank, the Baltimore Ravens podcast, Doug. Yo, it is Saturday afternoon, as y'all already know, because this is the time I always come on, you feel me? So this episode is going to be very, very dope, you feel me? Because as we already know now, the Kansas City Chiefs have won their Super Bowl, man. Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs for actually winning the Super Bowl, man. It really shows that experience and good head coaching and knowing their actual game plan and sticking to their game plan really pans out. So as we can clearly just like to give the Kansas City Chiefs a great welcome, man, because like I said, man, they really showed that they are a great team. It really showed that this team is designed to be put into a dynasty atmosphere, man. Also, while we sit here talking about the Chiefs, man, my condolences goes out to all the families that was affected and to their shootout that Kansas City had at the parade, man. No fan should have to go live through any somebody's stupidity, man. So, like I said, my condolences goes out to all the families that was affected, to all those to that mishap that happened in Kansas City, man. It should never happen. It should never go down where it's like a family-friendly atmosphere, man. And all people was trying to do was just show love to their team and stuff like that. So, like I said, man, my heart goes out to those people, man. Also, while I wasn't here last week, man, let's give a nice welcome to our quarterback, man, the two-time MVP, man, Mr. Lamar Jackson, man. Oh, man, I tried to tell people that he was going to win his second MVP, man, and he showed that, yes, it doesn't have to have the big numbers that has to wow you. It doesn't have to be the normal setting of a true traditional quarterback. It has to just be the most dominant, the best player, and he made the best players on opposite teams look average. So, once again, man, shout out to LJ, man, for winning his second MVP, man, because, like I said, it's dope. It's rare that, we get this here in Baltimore, and, just to have a two-time MVP, we already know that, like, was set up for LJ for years to come, man, and I just know that he's going to keep improving, keep getting better. The naysayers just keep saying what the negative comments so he can hear, because like he said, he needs the naysayers. He wants the naysayers to be there. He wants the naysayers to keep his name floating around so he can just keep on building off that, because now I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be focusing on him not getting finishing at the big stage, his playoff records and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure my guy is about to be on a fucking mission to silence those naysayers, finally get to the big stage, as where he said on his draft day, is that he's going to get us a Super Bowl. And I believe in LJ, and I feel like he's one step closer from getting that Super Bowl, you feel me? Just got to just take care of the playoff wins. And the reason I'm bringing this up is for the simple fact that we're in the offseason. Now it's time to start gearing up, putting some key pieces, and trying to figure out what's the best team for us coming into next season. So we're going to be sitting here talking about some of the key free agents, that's coming up. I think that will be a good fit, and some of the guys that's rumored to even coming to Baltimore, you feel me? So I can't wait to talk about those guys. And I got to talk about some of the guys that I feel like we need to bring back so we can most definitely finish what we started. You know what I mean? Get beyond the AFC Championship. Finally get to that big Super Bowl, because as history repeats itself for all my flockers, Hear me out on this. Why I'm thinking that we still have a better chance of winning or going to the Super Bowl next year. As we already know, if you don't really know, that the Ravens appear in the Super Bowl every 12 years. We did it in 2000. 12 years later, 2012, the Ravens appear again. So we are coming up on that 12-year span where the Ravens is, potentially could be in the Super Bowl and it's in New Orleans. So you already know what happened the last time we was prepared for a Super Bowl to be in New Orleans. If you can't see it off the glare, man, off the sun, man, that is the Super Bowl picture of the Ravens beating the 49ers that year in the Super Bowl. The when the lights cut off, you feel me? So just to give you all a little teaser, keep your mind percolating, you feel me, and give us a little bit of hope. But like I said, man, it's free agents time. It's time to figure out who should come to the Ravens and who should come back to the Ravens. You feel me? We're gonna start off with the 5 players I believe the Ravens should go out here and potentially try to bring them as to the Flockers. You feel me? And I'm going to give y'all 8 Ravens who I feel like that they need to really look into and bringing them back for sure. Should be top priority. You feel me? That's later into the show. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about the 5 players who I think the Ravens should go after. And this one particular player, I feel like he can play like a Raven. I feel like he will be a good fit for the Ravens defense, especially with the new play calling. I cannot wait to talk about that. Our new defensive coordinator in upcoming episodes. That our defensive coordinator most definitely needs another playmaker. Somebody I feel like that he can bring this playmaking ability to the Ravens and help the Ravens defense advance even more. And it's a position where I feel like the Ravens are going to have to go in and get healthy and go deep into depth about this position. You feel me? But no further ado, the first person I would like to bring up is Jalen Johnson. I feel like he's a good DB. He's a good cornerback. He will fit in with the Ravens. You know, the last Bear player that we got turned out to be a good fit for the Ravens, Roquan Smith. But Jalen Smith, man, he had 36 tackles last year. He also had 31 solo tackles. He assisted in 5 tackles. He had 1 forced fumble with 4 interceptions. That lets us, because we already know that last year what we bring to the table when it comes to turnovers. And if he can just bring that ability to the Ravens, man, we already know what type of defense that we can bring. But what Jalen Johnson can bring to the Ravens is like last year he didn't have the quite third year breakout years that he thought he would be. You know, coming off of previous years with some knick-knack injuries. But he was able to find common ground in the extension with the Bears. So the Bears might have messed this up before the deadline. And, you know, I feel like now that the Bears went on here and did their contract extension with Montez Sweat, this leaves the door wide open for this guy. And what he brings to this to the team, what he brings to the table, I should say, is that he is a physical and technical sound wide cornerback, which means that he plays great on the outside. Somewhere there, the opposite side of maybe Marlon Humphrey and Brandon Stevenson, because we already know that Marlon Humphrey is getting up there in years, and he's been suffering from a lot of injuries for the last couple of years too. So we already know that it's time. It's time to start looking in a little bit of different direction other than Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is still going to be there. I feel like he's going to continue his rest of his career as a Raven. But you got to also remember that these wide receivers ain't getting young. These wide receivers is getting fast, have good agility, everything like that. So we're going to need another corner other than Brandon Stevens, who's had a phenomenal year last year. So if you bring in another cornerback who can feel like he can hold his own on the ISO or on the island, doesn't need that much help, and he's physical, plays into our style just right. I really do feel like Jalen Johnson will be a good fit for the Ravens, and I think that the Ravens should go ahead out and try to seek a deal with this guy. I'm not saying that he's going to get big bank. I'm not saying that you hit him with a 4-year. Let's see, with a corner, that's about $35 million. No, I think that we should get this guy about a 2-year deal, You know, like I say, he got to prove himself because he didn't have the best year last year. But the thing about it is that this guy, the abilities that he has, that he prevents targets as well as now is never allowing a 60% completion rate in the NFL. So you can just see that he can pretty much hold his own. So I think that he will be a good fit for the Ravens if the Ravens would like to go ahead and take a look at him. Another guy who I feel like will be a good fit because we still need edge rushers. That's a position where I feel like we are still lacking in. We had good success last year. Thanks to EDC for going out and outside the box and bringing in two good, phenomenal players that fit real good with our system. But the only thing about those two players is they are kind of up in age. So I think that for a pass rusher, we got to come down in age a little bit. Now he has injury prone a little bit, but he has shown last year that after coming back off that ACL injury, he's showing that he's a solid edge rusher. And that guy right now is Chase Young. I feel like Chase Young will be a good fit for us. He had 25 total tackles, 17 was solo, 8 of it was assisted, and he had 7.5 sacks last year. And that's playing with the Commanders and the 49ers. And I really felt like that last year, Chase Young really put his name back on the map because we all thought that Chase Young could be a bust. We all thought that Chase Young, he started off hot, but then we was like, oh, he always injured. He's never on the field. His ability. You know what I mean? His availability is not always good. So I really think that after having a decent year last year with the 49ers towards the end, he made a Super Bowl appearance. He really established himself as a good edge rusher. And I just think that he's not going to be worth a lot of money. So if I'm the Ravens, I will go ahead and try to grab Chase Young and then try to figure out a good deal for us. Because like I said, he's young, he's mobile, he's able to get to the quarterback, he can put pressure on the quarterback. He's one of the top young guys that put pressures on quarterbacks. So I really feel like that Chase Young will be a good edge rusher for the Ravens. So that's another name that I think that will fit in with us on that defensive side, man. Let's switch it over to the offensive side real quick. Because you already know that the Ravens wide receivers is taking another toll again. You know, that wide receiver room may be looking a little different again this year. You know, we got Rashard Bateman, we got Zay Flowers to still be there. You know what I mean? We losing Nelson Aguilar. We losing OBJ to the free agency. We lost Laquan Treadwell. We are losing another wide receiver also. I just had his name off the tip of my tongue, man. Damn. But that wide receiver room is getting a little bit depleted. And I feel like that the only way to elevate LJ's game and to keep his game rising is add another good weapon. And he's a big target also, you feel me? And the target I'm talking about is this guy, Michael Pittman Jr., who had played for the Colts last year. And Michael Pittman Jr. is really a dog. He's really showing that he is this guy. I feel like that he can be a top wide receiver in this game. As we already see that he had 109 receptions, 156 targets. He rolled on here and grabbed 1,152 receiving yards. He was averaging 10.6 yards a catch. That's automatic first down. And he's also had round up 4 touchdowns last year. So I really feel like Michael Pittman Jr. can really step into this role and become a number 1 wide receiver. Yes, I understand that Zay Flowers had a decent season last year. But I feel like the only way we can keep developing Zay Flowers is to make sure that he has help. And if he can have help that can really open up the field for him like a Pittman, man, that's going to really have our offense and Todd Monken really going outside the box when it comes to this offense. Now I think that Lamar Jackson completion percentage will go up. It just won't just stay at a low 60s. Now we can maybe hit the mid 60s now because, like I said, Michael Pittman Jr. is an elite wide receiver in my eyes. Let me not say elite, a up and coming elite wide receiver. You feel me? So I just really just think that long as Michael Pittman can show that he can stay healthy, which he did last year because he played all 17 games last year. So if he can just stay healthy, and I don't think that he will break the bank really for us. I believe we can probably try to squeeze him in on maybe a 2 to 3 year deal, but that will fit for the Ravens. So I really just think that Michael Pittman will be a good fit for the Ravens. Also, excuse me. Another good fit now, back to the defensive side real quick. Because we will be also be taking a little hit in the offseason with this defensive line. We got guys like Brent Urban leaving. We got Justin Madubuike, who had a stellar year, phenomenal year. And just in case, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but just in case we are not able to sign back Madubuike, I think this guy will be a good fit for us. I think that he will play and show us that he's a real good competitor. This guy is a real one of the best interior linemen in the game right now, and this guy is no other than Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins is a phenomenal interior lineman. This guy has 65 total tackles, 38 of them was solo. He had 27 assisted tackles. He had 9 sacks. So you can see that he's just not just a run stuffer. He can get to the quarterback. He got 1 forced fumble and he got 2 fumble recoveries. So I just think that even if we did lose Justin Madubuike, I really just think that Christian Wilkins can be that plug-in guy that can fill in and demand a lot of attention. Now, I really do think that the Dolphins will take a crack at him first. I really just do. But just in case they don't, I just think that the Ravens really need to pay attention to this guy. Now I'm pretty sure Christian Wilkins is looking for a big contract, man. And like I said, if we don't be able to get Justin Madubuike, that money can be left over for him. Now I'm not knowing off top how much contract, what his contract, how big his contract will be. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what's the numbers for a D tackle, especially in his type of status. But I just really feel like that he will be a great fit for this defense, man, especially for Zach Orr, first year play caller for the Ravens on the defensive side. So Christian Wilkins. Now, my last person who I really think, and it's been a lot of buzz even during the trade deadline, that it's a potential that this guy was coming to the Ravens. And now that the offseason is here, it's like we have the better odds and the better chances of getting this guy to come to the Baltimore. You feel me? And I just really think that it would be a great fit just to have him in the backfield. Oh my God. We already was the number 1 rushing team then last year. Just imagine what can possibly happen if we get this guy. Dark fucking King Henry. Like, woo! That will be a major signing for that backfield. Because you already know that it's King Henry. He is most definitely going to bring the thunder. Just imagine of trying to tackle him and Lamar in the read option. Who are you really going to take? Do you really want to take on King Henry in that body frame that this guy had? Or do you want to take on an elusive Lamar Jackson? So it's going to be like, really pick your poison. Because Derrick Henry is still showing that he's a top running back in this league, even with the type of offense that Tennessee was running last year. Even showing that he was splitting carries with the dude Nicholas last year. He still had 280 carries. He still rushed for 1,000 yards, 1,167 yards to be exact. He still averaged 4.2 yards a carry. He still grabbed double-digit touchdowns. He was still almost rallying up 1,000 yards after contact. And he was able to get 23 carries over 10 yards. So it looked like he's automatically first down. So just to bring him and Lamar in that backfield, man, I know Todd Monken will have a field day. Woo! Man, I swear, man. So just imagine we can just get a running back that can stay healthy. You know what I mean? Because I really feel like J.K. Dobbins is not coming back. I really feel like will be him moving on. Keaton Mitchell won't be healthy until about middle of the season, maybe. I don't think that the Ravens is really going to bring back Dalvin Cook, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people say, "Dang, you didn't mention Dalvin Cook into the mix." I don't know the future of Dalvin Cook. We didn't use him in the AFC Championship, so I really just don't feel like where's his place at. But I just think that the Ravens should really go after Derrick Henry first. And if we get unsuccessful, get Derrick Henry, then yes, go for Dalvin Cook and whatever good running back that's available during that time. You feel me? So there are my 5 players who I think that the Ravens should really take a long, hard look at. You know what I mean? We should look at Jalen Johnson. We should look at Chase Young. We should look at Christian Wilkins. We should look at Michael Pittman Jr. And we should most definitely look at Derrick Henry. I just think that I'm not saying that we're going to get all of these guys. I'm not saying that. But I just feel like those 5 guys will be good as a Raven. I think they will fit in. I don't think they wouldn't have no problems of trying to find an identity or anything in that nature. I just really just think that those 5 guys can really change and help Lamar Jackson get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like it's 3 defensive guys because we already know that defense win championships. And if the defense can almost replicate of what they did last year, that's really going to help Lamar get to the Super Bowl. You feel me? So those are the 5 players who I really think that the Ravens should go ahead and take a look at. Now, who do I think the Ravens should most definitely take a second look at bringing these guys back? And I really feel like that they would make a difference. And some of these guys will not be too expensive. You feel me? So one of the guys I really felt like we should be bringing back and should taking a hard look at is Ronald Darby. Ronald Darby, man, for number one, for coming off an ACL injury the year before, he damn near played every game this year. He only missed 1 game. He played 16 games. Out of those 16 games, man, he had 28 tackles. 24 of those are solo. So you can just see that in open field that this guy can tackle. This guy is not scared to tackle. This guy can get there. Also, with those tackles, man, he has 7 pass defended. 7 passes. Which means that I'm not saying that he's a shutdown corner, but I'm saying that he was able to fit in of whatever when he was able to be put in. He's not your every down corner, but once you put him in, man, he was able to do his job. He played stellar all year. All year. And people had questions about Ronald Darby. He was like, oh, man, he's coming off an ACL injury. Is he still going to have the same speed? Is he still going to be elusive? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? And he did all those things. Now, like I say, no, he's not a shutdown corner. Yes, he got scored on a couple of times. But, hey, what cornerback really doesn't get scored on? But throughout that whole season, man, I felt like Ronald Darby held his own. I really felt like Ronald Darby showed you that his career is not over. He still got some gas left in the tank. And I just really just think that it will be not so costly to bring Ronald Darby back. So I really feel like we should take a look at bringing him back. Another cornerback who I really felt like he held his own. You know what I mean? And he was playing for the rival the year before. And I don't understand why did the Steelers really let him go. That was a crazy move because he is a decent slot cornerback. And I really feel like that as long as you have that slot cornerback, your defense can go real, real far. And the guy I'm talking about is Arthur Millette. Arthur Millette, man, had 37 tackles this year. He had 2 sacks. He had 1 interception. He had 2 forced fumbles. He only allowed 425 yards. He only allowed 1 touchdown this year. And he had 5 passing breakups. So I really just feel like that Arthur Millette really set that tone and lived up to play like a Raven aspect. And I really just think that the Ravens got to bring him back. I don't think it's going to cost you that much to bring this guy back. I really just think that the Ravens have to, like, I got to keep repeating myself. Bring him back. There's no other ways to really look at it, man. I just think that Arthur Millette is really set up himself that Baltimore will be his home for the next upcoming years. If the Ravens don't bring him back, man, if they're a defense, they need a good slot corner who can blitz and who can cover. This is the guy that you should really take a look at, because I really, really believe that Arthur Millette really showed this, what he brings to the table. And I think that the Ravens should and will bring him back. Another Raven I feel like they should bring back, man, is number one, he brought energy to our organization, man. He brought nothing but good hype. Everybody was pretty much almost writing him off. Everybody thought that he was going to try to be the drama queen, the guy that the wide receiver diva. He was going to be so much of a headache. But this guy really played a real good key part into our offense. This guy really brought that veteran leadership, that mentality, and winning mentality to our organization, man. Then that's none other than OBJ. I really think that the Ravens, I heard he's contemplating retirement. He's contemplating. But if he's not, and if we have that loose change again, I just think that we had to give him another 1-year deal if he doesn't get another deal anywhere else. Because I'm pretty sure now teams is probably going to try to offer him a lot of 1-year deals, and that 1-year deal can be stacked up, especially when it comes to incentives. OBJ really showed that he was able to be available. His availability was better this year. He was able to play 14 games. He was able to get 35 receptions. He was targeted 64 times. He had 565 receiving yards. Yards per catch. It's going to be a little bit of a shocker. He was averaging 16.1 yards per catch. And he finished the season with 3 touchdowns. Like I said, no, the numbers is not going to wow you. It's not the OBJ from where he played then with the the Giants. It's not the same OBJ that wowed us in that Super Bowl a couple years ago. This is the OBJ that wowed us mainly because of his veteran leadership, how he helped and developed Zay Flowers, how he was able to create open spaces for Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar, Mark Andrews, and stuff like that. All the attention that he brings. He showed you that he still have that burst of speed left, and he got a little bit left in the tank. Now, like I said, it's not the young OBJ. It's not the him making a one-hand spectacular catches or anything in that nature. This was a mature OBJ. The guy that was saying that, look at the glass half full. Look what we have now. You know what I mean? So I really just feel like that OBJ got to have a second chance with us. And I think that Lamar was comfortable with OBJ. Like, no, he didn't catch him on all passes or anything in that nature, but Lamar he had another security blanket other than Mark Andrews. So I really just think that the Ravens should take a look back and thinking about signing OBJ if he's down or coming back here. Another guy, a veteran, good key piece that EDC went out and grabbed, man, late. Wasn't late during the season. It was about, we was already in the season, and it was works that he was thinking about coming playing for the Ravens. He was came to our training camp a little bit. Deal wasn't done, but then eventually the deal was done. And I really just feel like that Odafe and David Ojabo has not really caught our attention of being that edge rushers to watch out for just yet. So I would think that bringing him back another year would do our defense good justice. And that guy is Kyle Van Noy. I really feel like Kyle Van Noy fit with this Ravens organization. he really play like a Raven really meant something. Now, like I said, he didn't play all 17 games with us. You know, like I said, he came on like the third or fourth week in the season for us, but he was able to get 30 tackles, or 20 of them was solo. He was able to put up 9 sacks, and he didn't play the whole damn year with us. So I believe that if he was able to play the whole entire year with us, I think that 9 sacks will probably have been the double-digit sacks. And this is the most sacks he had throughout his whole career. And he didn't play the whole season. He had 2 forced fumbles. So I just really, really, really hoping, because he wants to come back as a Raven. He already has said that in his exit interview. It's just not really up to him. It's up to EDC. And I just think that if we are going to invest into these pass rushers, why not invest into the guys who showed you that they are one of the best pass rushers in the game? Because like I said, man, Dafe Owe hasn't really showed me nothing yet. He hasn't taken that next step, and I just really think that he might have blew his opportunity with us. I just think that him being a Raven will not be as much longer. So if that's the case, why not go ahead and try to bring back Kyle Van Noy, man, that leading presence that he brings, and also another veteran presence to who I think that the Ravens should really take another look at it again. And he had a phenomenal year, his best year since his 3rd year in the league. Jadeveon Clowney. Because number one, Clowney played all 17 games. All of them. Not one game missed. He had 43 tackles. 24 of them was solo. He had 9.5 sacks. His second time reaching that since his 3rd year in the league. He had 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. Like, this year for Jadeveon Clowney was, like I said, was his 2nd best year in his career. 2nd best year. He didn't play with the Houston Texans. He didn't play with the Cleveland Browns. He didn't play with the Seattle Seahawks. He didn't play alongside with other good pass rushers, like a Cliff Averill, like a Myles Garrett, a J.J. Watt. All of those good pass rushers that he played with, he never really exceeded his level expectations that we all thought until he came with the Ravens. And I just really feel like that he should finish his career as a Raven. We seen that Jadeveon Clowney got a lot left in the tank. We see that Jadeveon Clowney, it should be talked about in not the elites, but one of the good pass rushers in this game. So I really just think that to help Zach Orr and that defense, you got to keep one pass rusher. And I really just think that between Kyle Van Noy and Jadeveon Clowney, I would choose Jadeveon Clowney. I would choose him. For the simple fact that number one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Clowney is a little bit younger. And Clowney went through the training camp and everything. So he already knows that what this training camp consists of. So I will go ahead and get Jadeveon Clowney, man. Another guy. Let's go into the offensive side. And then after that, I'm going to give y'all 2 defensive players who are my 2 top priority guys that the Ravens have to go out and get and put contracts on these guys. But one guy that I really feel like, before I get to those 2 guys, this one guy in particular, last year he took a pay cut to stay with us. He showed you that at that ACL injury that he was back. And the wheels of the bus goes round and round. I just gave you that clue, man. Gus Edwards has the most definitely. The Ravens gotta take a look and making him coming back, man. We have to. Like I said, he showed you that he's able to play all 17 games. He had 198 carries and he rushed for 810 yards. He's showing you that he can still average chunks of yards. he was averaging 4.1 yards a carry. And not only him getting 4.1 yards a carry, this guy had got 49 first downs, all in rushing. That's all rushing first downs. What's 49? So you can tell he moves the chains. And he also can get into the end zone. Yes, some of those are short yard touchdowns, but he's still able to grab 13 of them. So I really just think that Gus Edwards, we gotta bring him back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. I understand, like, yes, Derrick Henry is probably gonna be top priority, try to bring him back. But after we try, and if we don't succeed in bringing Derrick Henry, we have to bring back Gus Edwards. I really feel like that Gus Edwards is a every down back. I really feel like Gus Edwards is a starting running back. And he should be starting with the Ravens. He did all last year. He showed us that he is the number one guy. Granted, he didn't get 1,000 yards, but I really feel like that he can break that 1,000-yard mark. I really think that Gus Edwards can be a 1,000-yard rusher. So I just think that we got to give him that opportunity. Whether we get even if we still get Derrick Henry, I still believe we should go ahead and bring back Gus Edwards. Because just imagine you are playing downhill against two physical running backs with Derrick Henry, and then you can slide in Gus Edwards, and then you got Keaton Mitchell whenever he comes back off an injury as being that elusive back. And then, like I said in the beginning of the show, you still got Lamar Jackson, who led us in rushing also still. So with that rushing attack, man, woof, will be scary hours. Scary hours. Now, my last two guys, like I said, I just think that the Ravens have to make top priority. Have to. The first guy I want to talk about, man, is Patrick Queen. PQ really showed us last year that we gotta have to make some hard decisions. That us not putting that us picking up his 5th-year option, man, was number one devastating to me. Didn't understand it, why the Ravens would do that. But it also lit a fire under PQ. And then also getting that fire get lit underneath of him, man, he played exceptional with Roquan Smith. In my opinion, the best linebacker duo in the NFL. I understand Fred Warner and Greenlaw, but Roquan and PQ, man, these two was the best duo. It's like I'm trying to think of a good comparison for these two guys, man, but it's just really hard to compare these two great linebackers, man. PQ had 133 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 interception, a forced fumble. He put 27 quarterback pressures. He put 20 quarterback hurries. He had 52 defensive stops. Now, sometimes PQ will get lost in the pass coverage. He'll let some plays, if he learned how to just turn his head at times. I really feel like PQ would have had way more interceptions this year. I think that PQ would have saved us from losing to the Indianapolis Colts if he was able to turn his head around. So I just really think that the Ravens gotta find a way to bring him back. I understand that it's a possibility. There's rumors that he might follow Mike Macdonald to the Seattle Seahawks. Rumors. But I'm pretty sure that his first desire is to play here in Baltimore. So the Ravens gotta go out here and make it their business to get this guy and bring him back and pair him up with Roquan Smith to make it easy for Zach Orr transition of him being the defensive coordinator this year. Two reliable linebackers that plays almost every down is what a defensive coordinator dream of. But you know, one thing a defensive coordinator dream about is that one guy that controls the goddamn line of scrimmage. That one guy that gets double teamed but still finds a way to get to the quarterback. that one guy who transitioned from what he did the year before to what he did this year to really make his name for himself, to put his name in one of the top defensive linemen in the game. And I believe that the Ravens got to make it a top priority of getting this guy. And that guy is none other than Justin Amadibike. Now, I didn't set this in the top of the show that he is top priority. If the Ravens can't make a deal, then yes, you can go after Christian Wilkins. But you got to go after Justin Amadibike first. Justin Amadibike had threw up 56 tackles this year. 56. Year before that he only threw up 36 tackles. So that's a 20 tackle jump. 13 sacks. Year before he only had 6.5. So he jumped up in that. 2 forced fumbles. His quarterback pressures. He has 77. So you know he's back there putting pressure on the quarterback. His quarterback hurries, making the quarterback get out that pocket and rush his throws. He had 43 of those and 42 defensive stops. We already know that he's a run stuffer also. He's just not just a guy that can get to the quarterback. He can stop the runs. He's not scared to go into the trenches against these good offensive linemen. He was making some of these offensive linemen look like college players. It looked like it was man versus boys. And I really, 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 really think that the Ravens got to make Justin Amadibike a top priority of getting him back because he's going to be worth the money. And I think that the Ravens got to give him the money to bring him back because I can tell you right now, man, he might not be top priority to everybody else in this league, but I guarantee you it's going to be a team that's desperately needing a defensive tackle. Somebody like a Cincinnati Bengals who's losing their defensive tackle of DJ Reader. You just think that Justin Amadibike won't fit good over there? You know what I feel me? What's another team? We most definitely don't want to lose him to AFC North rival. But what if Justin Amadibike goes to the NFC North and tag up with Matt McDonald? We don't want to lose him to that either. So, like I said, man, the Ravens just got to make it top priority to get this guy. So, the guys who I feel like the Ravens got to bring back, you know what I mean, whether it's a low contract or whether it's a max contract, you got to bring back Ronald Darby. You got to bring back Arthur Millette. You got to bring back Odell Beckham Jr. if he's not going to retire. You got to bring back Kyle Van Noy. You got to bring back Jadeveon Clowney. Got to find a way to bring back Gus Edwards, Patrick Queen, and Justin Amadibike. I'm not saying that the Ravens are going to be able to sign all these players back. You know what I mean? It's just the simple fact that it will probably not. That's one of the main reasons why I felt like that last season, that 2023 season, was so important. Because we was losing a lot of players and coaches. It's not just the players that we lost. We lost a lot of coaches also. So, with this offseason, man, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle because of the simple fact that cap space, you got to figure out who we're going to cut before the cap space, before the new regular season actually start, the new year actually a good team back this upcoming year, man. So those are my key free agents who I think that the Ravens got to go out and try to bring in. Like I had mentioned, we're not going to be able to get all of them, but if we can get at least 6 of those guys that we can start off with and then build around those 6 guys, man, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll still be competitive. I think that we'll still be that AFC favorite, besides the Kansas City Chiefs. But I just think that we just got to find a way to keep ourselves relevant and make sure we don't blow these next 5 years that we have LJ. We got to make sure we keep building a good team around him. And we got to make sure that everybody is on the same page. You can't just because of their names. We cannot just bring them in. You got to make sure they're a good fit. Make sure they with the good chemistry, and make sure they are bought into what we are trying to do and what the accomplished goal is. And I think if the Ravens has done good job, especially last year, of bringing in the right key pieces. So I got faith in the Ravens bringing in the right key pieces again this offseason. So I just gave y'all a nice list of top free agents that the Ravens offseason, and I really hope that the Ravens pay attention and go after some of these key players, man. So if you feel like that I missed some key players, because I know I missed some players, or if you feel like that the Ravens should go after some other type players, man, drop them in the comments. We can go back and forth and see that maybe it's a good fit or maybe it's not a good fit for the Ravens. So make sure y'all do that, man. Make sure y'all go out here, if you're not already, subscribe to the Grid Network. If you're tired of the same old opinions, you're tired of the same old faces, you want to have some good faces and some good-looking guys, you know, that can also deliver this sports analysis and stuff like that, and they give us a way to express out and give out our creativity, man. Come to the Grid Network. Dare to be different. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Those that we have, man. We got the guys like Carving It Up with Bryson. We got All Even Podcast with our guy Barry. We got the Sports Summit with our guy Tim. We got what's my guy Patrick, who's writing up dope articles. You feel me? If you're into reading articles, man, we got our guy Patrick who writes dope articles, man, and gives out great opinions. So make sure y'all go out here and check out the Grid Network, man. Also, if you like our shopping clothing line, man, make sure y'all go out and grab hats, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever it is that you're desired to afford, man. Come out and support us. Because like I said, we're just a group of guys that's trying to gradually make our way to the top of this podcast world. You feel me? So go out there and support us. And make sure, like I said, you hit that subscribe button so you can get all our contents when you get the notification when we drop, you feel me? So there you have it, yo. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And at the bank, you feel me? Make sure y'all tune in each and every Saturday at noon as I sit here and give y'all a dope show and what's going on in the news of far as what the Ravens has got going on. My next show is going to be dope, man. I can't wait to be talking about our new defensive coordinator. I can't wait to tell y'all who this guy is. You feel me? I'm pretty sure y'all know what it is, but to know who we are getting and why the Ravens chose him as our defensive coordinator. So make sure y'all tune in next Saturday for that episode, man. And as always, big trust. Because why trust anything else? You feel me? I catch y'all when I catch y'all. I'm out.